Well, Matt didn't have any pirate stories to tell, so we made him jump the plank.
What? Man, he did do nothing.
Now, in reality, he just had to go take care of some door dashing. In the meanwhile, we're back with Donkey Kong 64, and something we forgot to do way back when, take that key we got from Mad Jack and put it in Lindsay's cage.
Right.
And he's happy, but only for a brief stint.
Oh, well.
That always used to throw me off guard every time. Like, I come to this point, I give him that thing, he's like, woo! And then just it fades back to the other song, and he's just depressed again.
As if it's. I would say like it. Oh yeah, because it's always been around here. But yeah, it's like we get to this point, and it's almost as if he just and John goes like, enough of that. I get it.
Okay.
Stop having fun.
Alright, so with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're more or less caught up, and unfortunately, it's time to start going into the foul internal depths of this game's internal programming. It's time to start on Gloomy Galleon.
Because yeah, as we've hinted at, the game has a little bit of a difficulty curve to contend with the further you get in now, especially now that you have unlocked so many more moves.
It's not even so much that it's hard, it's just tedious to a fault.
I trust the Blessomatic suit will be ready to be activated.
We had if you take a look around, Your Majesty. My men are all lazy.
He's lying, sir. He's always asleep.
Please forgive me. Oh, wait, one.
Guards! Make sure no one leaves until my machine is ready.
Those are their guards.
The slave driver.
I gotta make a run for it.
Whoop.
Oh no! You stay.
I'm still up here.
Even this guy.
You don't get to leave.
Help.
Oh no! There he goes. At least he's been up there since the intro.
Yeah, I mean, I figured he was just hanging around for funsies, but now it's like, no more fun. Get back to work.
So right off the bat, with those mint bananas ahead of us, I think we were talking about this, and Gloomy Galleon is probably one of the worst offenders of the James. You've been doing a swell job of trying to organize what we're doing with all these Kongs in a particular order.
Yeah, and then this game takes a big fat deuce on it and makes you pretty much go back and forth on every other Kong, mostly because of these blockades.
Mm-hmm. And it's mainly this level that I remember when I was even playing casually that, yeah, I agree with Donkey, I agree with you, I agree with Hype, I agree with everybody that if they were ever to remaster this game, if they had some way to be able to freely swap between Kongs at any time, that would be fantastic.
It would definitely remove a lot of the tedium that this game has.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what the heck?
Because, I mean, also there is a Cusplat up there, but, and it's
okay.
Honestly, it's sad, dude, because, the general puzzles for this game, again, save for the really bad groaners like Beaver Bother, aren't really that bad. The puzzles, most of the banana challenges are fine. It's just that, it's the problem that, especially around here, when you're forced to literally swap from one Kong to the other, and the tag barrels are so few and far apart.
Right.
It just becomes an absolute slog after a while. And this, I would say this level right here is the absolute worst offender of it.
That it is.
And Tromboner's like, not today!
No!
Oh, Bruno, what am I making voice again? God damn it!
It always happens when you least expect it.
Yeah, all these characters have so similar vocal tones, it's kind of hard to mix and match.
Yeah. Be careful now.
Chunky stuck!
Junkie. There you go.
The poor lad doesn't know his own strength sometimes.
Yeah, once again.
Running away!
We have all this mess.
Yep. And there's another thing right there. You're gonna need Chunky in order to break this. Now, I'll be completely fair. A part of me was just... My mentality by the time I got to Gloomy Galleon is just... Take care of whatever's possible right then and there. So, I didn't exactly look for an immediate answer to find if there was a way to alleviate some of the backtracking.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, though, like I said, the gate, those blockades we've been seeing are pretty much the prime example that you can't really do it like that. At least not that easily.
Oh, jeez.
Ooh, this be Chunky's lucky day.
All right then.
So that's one. What's behind chest number 2? Ooh.
Headphones, sweet.
Chunky tone deaf.
It is almost as obnoxious as it's almost as obnoxious a placement as where you had to find the audio options in Sword and Shield.
Wait, that's an actual thing?
Oh, yeah, no. In Pokemon Sword, this is completely old news by now, but in Pokemon Sword and Shield, there is a you have to unlock the ability to swap between stereo and mono audio, and you get it by talking to a guy in, I want to say it's either City 1 or City 2. You talk to a random NPC who looks like every other NPC, and he mentions, "Oh, I have these headphones that you can take from me that'll allow you to control." That's how you unlock audio options.
That's very elaborate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is this something that happens, like, near the beginning of the game, or is this something you find, like, along the way?
Again, I believe it's, like, early enough, but it's still, like... That's not a reward, Game Freak. That's called... That's options. Those are game options.
It honestly reminds me how in Spyro 2, at a certain point you could talk to Hunter, who's just standing there, and he's all like, "Your camera's currently set to passive mode, Spyro. If you want, I could change it to active mode," or
no, he
maybe it's the other way around, I forget.
No, but yeah, no, by the way, like, imagine that, and imagine if you had no way to change it until after he mentioned something. Oh, jeez, Mikey's going nuts. The trombonist is on the loose, everybody.
He's literally hopping mad.
There you go.
And literally the entire Kremling ranks was wiped by his trombone of justice.
My name is Lanky.
The trombonist of justice.
Meanwhile, while Diddy's on the loose.
So, again, there's going to be a lot of cutting, and...
Oh yeah, no, by this point there's going to be a lot of jump cuts.
Because the levels are going to start involving a lot... It's going to be a lot harder to really do full Kong runs until, I think, the penultimate level of the game.
Yeah, although I have learned it is slightly possible to do with Crystal Cave, but only slightly. There is still going to be plenty of back and forth regardless.
So I will say I appreciate all the cutting. Get right
Actually,
to
no,
the
not Crystal Cave. I meant to say Fungi Forest.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because every like Kong has like their own like general, like hub area.
And Tiny's like, "Damn it! I gotta blow my tube in frustration."
I
don't know why that never gets old for me.
it's silly. So, in that case, while we're doing all this hype, have you ever had any interest in playing this game?
I remember trying it before, like back when I was getting into like N64 emulators. I gave it a good try, but I'm not gonna lie, it just didn't grab me as much as Banjo did.
Which is fair. Like Banjo, especially the first Banjo-Kazooie, is much easier to pick up and play. Whereas this one just has a few more. It just has a few more layers to it than that game does.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could also argue that that's sort of the same case with Banjo-Tooie, but we've already gone on record what that's all about.
Yeah. Well, that's.
I mean, if there's anything I'll definitely give this game over Banjo-Kazooie is that I do think the Kongs do control a little better than Banjo ever did. But that's not saying a lot, considering they still have all the flashy abilities on their side.
I think that's fair.
Whereas with the Kongs, it's more so context sensitive.
Right.
So yeah, the main thing behind Gloomy Galleon is that there's two major areas to it. There's the lighthouse, and then there's the harbor or the port. I don't know what the second side of it's called, but it's basically a whole bunch of elaborate coral reefs that you have to swim through. It's also here that we can find another one of our long-lost animal buddies.
Aw, we gotta find him quickly.
Eventually. Actually, now that I think about it, we'll probably go ahead and hop to it right now, because here's one of the spawning points for Ungard here. Now, the thing about Ungard is... Wait, why am I using Diddy?
I don't know.
Because there was a Kersplat you went by earlier.
That's right. I went back to go take... I took a Kersplat to Kersplat.
Where is he?
Whoop,
Oh, there
there
he
he
is. Oh, boy.
Hello!
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it looks more orange than red.
Yeah, and again, like, the game's gonna start doing this, where it's a Diddy Kersplat next to a tiny balloon.
And a chunky pad.
Again, like, it's stuff like this where I understand what they're trying to do, but it's not necessarily fun, because that means we gotta do this. Oh, no. Because means we gotta do this
ask, like,
over and
I
over.
don't know if we talked about this, but if you already killed a Kasplat with a particular character that you need their blueprint from. Now that they're just white-haired, can any Kong be allowed to kill them now?
I mean, you can kill the Cosplats with anyone. It's just that you're tasked with killing the one that, exudes that same color, just to
Right.
get the blueprint.
Right, to explain, yeah, and from what I've seen hype, yeah, it's like anyone can kill them, but when they drop the blueprint, like Chunky's like, that looks weird, and he just won't pick it up.
Gotcha.
Chunky never liked purple.
Yeah, he don't. He only trusts green. I know it's something silly like that.
If he only
So
trusts
actually,
green,
good.
if he only trusts green, that means I can see him accidentally trusting a Kremling.
Correct. That's why he's not exactly on the. Oh, jeez.
He's not exactly on the straight and narrow.
What
Every
are those-
Kong is lemons.
Also, what is with those baddies back there?
Wait, every
Clubbers.
Kong is lemons, so it's
Equal.
called. So it's
E-kill.
E-kill.
Kongs were never known for their spelling, but I will say, ooh, that's right. There's this whole mechanic.
This is another thing you gotta worry about with Gloomy Galleon, is that there certain puzzles will be activated or deactivated depending on how high the water level is.
Yep. So have fun with it.
Yep, and you can only filter, mess with it
Yes.
in the lighthouse.
That was it. Yes. Shift it. It's somewhere.
Jeez, I
I've
swear
had
at
that.
some point
like-
I'm gonna get a stroke from doing all this commentary. Anyway,
It's tricky. It's tricky with when there's a lot of words that mean the same thing. I've had that happen where what I tend to do is I tend to combine words accidentally. If it's like two words that mean the same thing, I'll say one word while thinking of the other word, and I come up with some weird.
Yeah,
like,
it is very to confuse the two.
correct.
yeah. So while we're still at the lighthouse, make sure to have DK on hand because he pretty much solves a good handful of the puzzles here, like this.
I'm
It
not
almost
gonna
feels like-
lie.
Go
When I
ahead.
said it's very easy to confuse the two, the reason I was like worrying it slow is because I really wanted to make a joke about that, and it wasn't until now where I found out the joke I wanted to do. It's like it's very easy to mistake them.
That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. I do that. All right. Oh no!
Ah, crap.
Of course.
I'm free! Oh, fuck.
I'm going to be free. I love the idea of him landing. He's like, finally safe. At the one place he didn't think to look. Hey, oh, okay, you have to delay that a bit.
I feel like we're relating saying this, but yeah, no, these whole obstacle courses are more or less an homage to the those barrel-centric levels in Donkey Kong Country.
Which I didn't mind, and I'm looking forward to if they ever decide to make another Donkey Kong game again. I know Retro is still, in the market, and hopefully after Prime 4, maybe Nintendo will, be willing to, oh, jeez, we're back here. I forgot, this is where they start getting a little more maze-like.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like after. What am I trying to say? I feel like there's a better chance of us just having a new DK game developed by someone else than we are waiting for Retro to come back.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me think. Is Payon still around?
I think they
Yeah?
still are. I'll check that.
Because I know they were the ones that were handling most of the DK stuff up until Donkey Kong Country Returns. And
look,
the
Clapper.
last thing Hey, Clapper's pirate brother.
Yeah.
Actually, that does remind me. An interesting factoid regarding Gloomy Galleon. The music that was used in this game was actually meant for another project of Rare's that we may have alluded to before, Project Dream.
Oh, yeah. Because oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. All the pirate stuff and whatnot.
It was very much, this was one of many tracks that was going to be used for it that were repurposed for the sake of DK64.
Wonder whatever will happen.
Yeah. And I mean, as much as I want to say, a part of me wants to see that project be brought back in some light. We technically already have that, and it's called, what was that game called that they own?
Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, thank you, Sea of Thieves.
Which definitely has a lot of great pirate stuff, and I will be honest, I don't believe I ever found anything I don't think I ever found any references to Blackbeard. But I know they have several other silly
Actually,
little.
does remind me. I don't know. I remember there was a rare artist that drew both Blackbeard and Captain K. Rool in honor of that game's release. And they're just
Aw.
all sad-eyed, realizing that their time had not come once again.
No, I'll have to look that up though. But I do know that I mean, Sea of Thieves has some neat little Easter eggs to rare stuff. Unfortunately, it's usually behind paid cosmetics. But the ones that, like, for instance, the one that my friend Mecca has that I do enjoy is it's just called simply the Baron Bird, and it basically gives all of your pirate ship and equipment on the ship a Banjo-Kazooie color palette with it makes it look like an old, like, you know, coat of arms, like family emblem, but with a bear and a bird hovering over it, and there's jiggies all over the mast and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then they recently did one for the Battletoads.
But yeah, just looking into Payon, I don't think they're gone, but it looks like they've just been, like, really unbusy. Like, it says here that the last game that they made was about, let's see, was about 4 years ago. They made a subscribed slot game service called Daito Yoshimue City.
It's a start.
Yeah, I'd say so. Oh well. That being said, though, don't mind as this lovable Kong here of ours is literally going through what looks like an elongated homage to the tower climb from Mario 64.
It does look like that, with all them silly platforming they do. Oh,
It's a little more. Oh jeez.
Ow.
we'll try again.
Ow.
It's always the worst when not only do you make you end up making the splat, but then you just fall off again.
Yeah.
No, insult, to injury, and we need something to turn this light, the switch to turn on the light.
Switch! Yeah! Oh. And again, it's still funny to me that DK can do these, yet Chunky can't, even though Chunky is supposed to be the brawn of the bunch.
I like to imagine it's because if Chunky were to do it,
It would break the lever.
exactly, and snap it in two.
Chunky don't know his own strength sometimes.
Also, whoa, that lighthouse is going nuts.
And it's also called upon an old vessel of cool rules.
Oh
my gosh, there it be. It
Man,
looks
the
a little
Gangplank
more,
Galleon looks a lot smaller than I remembered it.
also looks a
Yeah.
lot crummier. It looks a little run down. Well, that's all matter of.
Oh.
Jesus, you got
That-
fucking impaled on that thing.
Yeah.
I did, didn't
Just
I?
like, just cut to black, like.
Yeah, just DK's like,
I feel okay.
Why am I... Wow, I can see from both left and right.
No, I was gonna say, cuts back to DK going, what? I feel fine. Why do I look all wide and floaty?
it's like,
Oh dear, look at that. I've been
Oh,
impaled.
my dear sweet DK, not you too.
Said Wrinkly.
Meanwhile, DK has to
forgot
put together, and then DK has to sing that Eddie the Yeti song, but to Wrinkly.
Oh,
let me
God.
get back to my home. Gotta take things back where they belong.
Well, while you're still here, Shuddy, you can help me with my knitting.
Yeah.
No, I can't believe what I see.
Oh, yeah, so I definitely remember from one of my earlier playthroughs of the game, probably my first one, I think this was the very last golden banana I was missing before I reached full completion. Which
Actually,
is
just-
kind of weird looking back on it.
Yeah. Actually, just really random. We were talking about that episode. For some reason, one bit that I still find really funny, it's when Diddy and his minions were charging forth to get the paper mache lily pad, and it's like, well, what are we gonna do? Go for snow cone?
Later. But yeah,
And
look
just,
at
just the face that he makes afterwards. This was also around the same season where the budget was clearly not kicked off a notch.
yeah.
Well, it was like,
Careful.
it's really weird, because it's like, I appreciate them actually
Ah,
animate...
open
Oh
up!
boy. Oh boy.
there you go.
Diddy
A
comes,
classic-
come take a look.
Classic rare staple, into the big fish we go.
But it's like,
So
it's... Oh, you finish.
Alright, so the main gimmick here is that, well, we gotta take this thing out straight from the heart.
Alright, so... oh, jeez. So do we... Oh, I see. So we need to aim with our pistols?
Yep. Not at the bee, but at its heart.
Oh, to mess those vents up.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's also come to this point where we're under a time limit.
Okay, there we go. Nice. Now, is it just one did you say to shoot them all just once, or...
You have to shoot them 3 times.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
it is a little bit of a tedious process, and again, you don't have much time to work with. Which I guess I'll also say real quick, this is. I don't get why there's certain obstacles where the time limit is a little more extravagant, where it's just a straight up nothing.
Yeah.
I don't really get it, but at the same time, it's more time than you're usually given, so I guess I'll give it that much. But now comes the point where we got to play the waiting game.
Yeah.
And what you're not seeing is that I actually had to cut out an attempt.
Yeah, I imagine so.
I mean, again, and I remember I had a few rough times with this as well, just because of the projectiles, like right there. It's like if you're a little bit off and you hit the edge, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, overall, not a big fan of this one.
Right. Careful.
Oh, thank God, that zinger literally respawned just as I finished.
Yeah.
And done. Oh, yeah, and I just realized there's another thing you have to worry about. Like, the whole place floods as well, so you have to deal with the oscillation of these platforms floating about.
Yeah, because you sure can't use your wooden firearms underwater.
No.
It's their weakness.
Right.
I mean, they're made of wood, after all. And not only that, it'll also get the fruit soggy.
Yeah.
No, yeah. What we're doing down here? We don't be the.
Well,
actually, I guess that's actually something we can talk about. Is that like, new to the whole 3D aspect? Actually, is that well, not 3D. New to the thing is that no one had told the Kongs how to breathe underwater yet, so we're good.
Oh, yeah.
They still are blissfully ignorant.
I mean, like, this is pretty much a staple from Donkey Kong Country, where you didn't have to worry about, air, like, having to breathe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that helps too.
Yeah, it
It's not
wasn't
like Banjo who had to breathe, or... Well...
Oh.
And there it goes.
Thanks,
Oh.
Galleon!
You're welcome, said the Galleon. No, but I mean, again, yeah, as Hype said, it wasn't until Tropical Freeze that one day a plane crashed and there's a dictionary or whatever on the table. It was turned to the page drowning. Tiny, I imagine Diddy read it first and had to break the sad news to Donkey Kong soon after. Like,
Little buddy, big buddy, I got some bad news.
You know,
We actually have to watch our breath.
Yeah,
You know,
turns out we've been.
you say
turns out-
that-
Go ahead.
Yeah, you say that, now I'm reminded of the one Mickey short where Mickey and Donald are at the seafloor and they think they come across like the mermaids. Then it cuts back to Goofy like reading the definition of, was it asphyxiation, where it's like oxygen deprivation or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was it might have been that, yeah.
But it's like after that he realized he was accidentally like clogging the oxygen wires, and then once he like unclogged them, the Mickey and Donald were suddenly like, wait a minute.
I mean, yeah, no, let it be known that Goofy almost let his two best friends drown.
Unknowingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. So
now comes another annoying challenge where, hold on, let me just bring out my Deathbringer.
The electric triangle.
in the background.
You know,
did
I
it.
feel like
Oh, that's so
people
cool. We can
would've-
jump with this. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like people would have respected his ability to play the electric triangle if he was playing alongside Chip Skylark.
All right. I hope. Oh yeah, get used to this mechanic real quick.
Yeah, so time to shoot out some cannonballs, and
Ooh,
you only
nice.
have so much ammo on hand, so be careful.
Yeah.
You only have
One other thing that's worth mentioning is that, or I don't know if they do it with the cannon or if it's something else. No, it's not with the cannon. I know there's another target practice session we'll be doing later where you have to zoom in the camera.
Really? Oh, like it's super far away. Sorry.
Yeah, you would have to super scope it.
Oh
I'm
boy.
trying to think, like, maybe you have to lead your shots, because it looks like they do kind of, like, go in an arc.
Yeah, you do have to lead your shots because it is a very slow thing to fire.
Whoop. Sorry.
Sorry, Chris Platt.
I missed.
Doop. That'll do.
Just Chucky go like, Chucky no like.
And-
Junkie no like splat.
Oh,
Got
that was
it.
close.
Nice. Awesome.
Banana.
Okay.
Woo. Oh.
Junkie no like kernel splats. Whatever that means.
All right.
Kong.
No.
Now we got some unfinished business. Bring him on, tromboner.
I don't
I'm
like
not gonna lie, I love that cutaway of him
tromboner.
just, like, casually slapping him.
You did it, tromboner. I thought my name was trombonist. You got it, tromboner.
Oh man, poor thing. But
You laugh at my tromboner, eh? I'll show them. I'll show them how many tromboners we can have in a Donkey Kong game.
oh, stay tuned for that. Let me tell you, this game's is chock full of tromboners.
More or less. So finally, On Guard's back.
Yep,
Yay.
now we can use On Guard for a little bit, and you may have noticed I use Lanky because he's the only one that can activate him.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't get that. I honestly don't get the logic behind that either. But I mean, considering that only DK can summon Rambi, I guess that makes some amount of sense.
So-
Though that being said, unlike Rambi, I do think you get a little more use out of On Guard, considering you can't use him on both sides of the galleon.
Is there still a
Okay.
timer though?
No timer. You
Oh,
never
awesome.
have a timer when you're the animal buddies. You just have
Okay.
you can only travel so far before Karul says nope.
Oh well. Well,
I'm kind of
um,
curious,
go ahead.
like, not counting the GBA ports of the original trilogy, was this the last time we ever got to have a playable-ish On Guard?
He was a animal buddy you could ride in Barrel Blast, but otherwise, I think that's literally it.
And I wonder if the next one would show that, kind of like how Tropical Freeze made more use of Rambi.
Yeah.
I know he
Like,
was
I
in
remember-
Returns, but I know that they brought him back more in Tropical Freeze.
Like, I remember a lot of people saying that, like, since Tropical Freeze had a lot more water focus levels, that would have been a good opportunity to bring back On Guard.
I think the only reason why they decided not to is because what you could do with On Guard, you could technically already do with the oh yeah, by the way, On Guard nor Rambi can pick up the dance, which is stupid.
Gotcha.
But what was I gonna say? Crap, what was I gonna say?
about
That-
the water
that-
about the water focus levels in Tropical Freeze and why they may
Yeah,
not
that
have
you
brought
felt
back
like
On
that
Guard.
the Kongs you could play with kind of would have made their abilities redundant.
Yes, not to mention that DK himself can attack underwater, so I can understand why they figured On Guard would be unnecessary. At the same time, though, I guess it wouldn't hurt to maybe have an option to have better swimming controls through On Guard.
Mhm.
Because not to say, though, the swimming controls in the game are bad, but you can sort of tell that there's a rhythm you gotta follow.
So
And
I
whereas with On
guess
Guard, you can sort of treat it more like the frog suit.
right. So I guess since we've seen now that 'cause I think that's also the only other animal buddy we have is we're Rambi and On Guard. If they were to include other animal buddies, which do you think would be Diddy, Tiny, and Chunky Kongs respectively?
For Diddy, I could see them having either Ratley or
Squitter?
No, actually, you know what? Yeah, no, Radley. They could have Ratley be for Diddy. They could have Squawks for Dixie. Excuse me, Dixie. Tiny.
Yeah.
Even though Squawks is already all over the place in the game anyway as your support. For Chunky, they could probably use Squitter, because considering how much of a fucking tank he is.
Right, and because nobody wants Ellie.
No. I do feel bad for... I legitimately feel bad for Ellie, because I understand that they wanted to focus more on puzzle solving with the brute. At the same
Right.
time, though, if you're going to give me the choice between either a rhino or an elephant in such an instance, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go with a rhino.
I know, it's unfortunate. But yeah.
I mean, after all, how else can you rip a new one?
Mm-hmm.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you all next time as we see what's beyond that seashell that Tiny just swam into.
Oh boy. See ya.
You know, 'cause I'm Rambi.